That's what saved you from crashing into the wall. Someone is angry.
Hey guys, what is up? I know it's been a while since the last video. I was just waiting for parts to come in because DBA takes a little bit of time.
We don't care. Let me tell you, we don't care.
But you know what? It doesn't matter. We're changing the brakes today and I'm so excited for that. We're going to change these dirty, old, disgusting rotors, pads, and we're going to freshen up the calipers today. So it's going to be amazing. So as I said, the entire budget of the car will be 10K. So let's just break down the cost for all the parts I have in front of me. Front, I've got the T2 DBA rotors, which are really cool because they're slotted. So they'll add a bit more braking when we go on track. But for the rears, I actually couldn't find any slotted ones for the Prelude at all. So I had to just get normal basic ones. So I just got the Bendix. So those all came to $301.38. So the pads I got at the DBA Street series, which are really good for just normal street use, and they cost $94.48. But of course I will get track ceramic pads when I go to the track. So I got the Super Doc 4 Penrite brake fluid, $20 together. And Montana Pro yellow brake caliper paint was $12.50, and then just got a couple of metal brushes just to get the calipers all nice and clean before I paint them. What we're going to do first is we're just going to take the caliper off and then take the rotor off. So the very first thing that we need to do is just take the brake line off at the back, just so the whole caliper is free, so we can take off the bolts at the top. So now we've got the bolt out, it just means that this brake line is free so that we can take off the top bolt here. So yeah, we'll just drain out a bit of brake fluid at the moment, but it's fine because we have this down here. So now that we've got the top and bottom bolt off, it should just come out now. And then now all we need to do to get this off is just take off these two back bolts and then this should come off. Now we've got all of the caliper off. So we just need to take off these two bolts here. This one was really easy to do. With this one it's a bit harder just because the inside's so threaded and the outside's rusted. So what we're going to do is we're going to hammer a bit in and then see if we can just impact it out. So now we've got that out and the rotor will just come off super easy now. We put penetrant on all of their studs and also around the axle just so we can get the rotor off. So we'll just see if that worked. So we'll just hit around the outside here and see if it comes off. And like that, there's already a bit of movement. It just come off super easy now. Sweet. So out with the old, in with the new.
Hey guys, Chris Fix here.
Now we'll just get straight to painting the calipers and then we'll just put everything new on. So we just prepped up both of the calipers. I forgot to record that. Anyway, we prepped it up and then made sure that all the important parts are covered. Get the slide pins covered, get the bleed nipples covered, top covered as well. And so yeah, so we'll just put them up on the lines and then paint them real quick. So we'll just give the calipers their first base coat and we'll see how it goes. And now that I've got my gas mask on, so I don't inhale the fumes because I forgot to do that the first time when I did this, I'll just spray it again so it's a bit better of a coat. So as we're just waiting for the calipers to dry, we'll install the rotors and I'm so excited to see them for the first time. Look how good those rotors look. Alright, so we'll just put it on real quick. That looks so good. I'm so happy with that. As the other one of these nuts is like super bad, they're like very hard to get in, we'll just use one of them. That's insecure now. We've been waiting a while for the rear brakes to come and we decided just to leave the fronts at the moment just to let the front calipers just dry. And I'm actually pretty happy with how they turned out. So now all we'll need to do is just take off all the parts that we covered up and then we'll just get these on. So now that we've disassembled the caliper after painting it, we'll just put the backing plate on. So it's just two 17 bolts at the back. Before I put the caliper pot back on, we just have to compress the pot inside here. So we're using this special tool for it. It just slides in here and then pretty much all you do is just rotate so that the piston goes down to like its most compressed level possible. Before I put the pads on, we just need to make sure to put the retaining clips in. Otherwise it's going to be super annoying to actually get the pot over the top of the pads, and also it just makes everything a bit more secure. Now we're going to install the pads. The most important thing with installing these is making sure you put the brake grease on them. Otherwise it's going to cause a bunch of friction on the outside and it'll be super noisy and loud. So yeah, so we'll just put it on the outside, only on the bits that are indicated. Yeah, so now we're just gonna put them in. So now that the pads have been put in place, we'll just put the caliper pot on top. Yeah, so just before we bleed all the brakes, we'll just attach the brake line to the caliper. So now that we've done the front, we'll just move on to the rear now, and it should be just as easy. Now, as we did it on the front, we'll just take off the brake line first, which is just a 14mm up here.
What is that, buddy?
Who's that Pokemon? So just as we did on the front, we'll just take off the two side pins.
Oh my, is that... Look how yucky that is, chat.
Now that we've got the whole caliper off, we just had to pretty much just pry it out the way because it was seized on. We made sure to tie it up here. I'm not gonna, what I did with the other ones, I'm not gonna do the same. I'm not gonna paint it off. It will just be too hard just because it's connected to the drum brake and I really can't be stuffed doing that. So I'll just paint it on, but I'll do that at a later point.
Guys, we need to take these two Phillips out. Obviously Lockie's too weak, so I have to do it for him now.
So now what we'll just do is take off the back mounting part of the caliper and then we should just get to the rotor. So this is the new rotor we're using for the back. It isn't as good quality as the DBA ones, just as I said before, I just couldn't find any slotted ones at the rear for a reasonable price, so I chose these ones. You know, they're still decent quality, I think. No. When you guys in the future see that this video has been uploaded probably about 4 weeks later than it's supposed to, is because we originally had to wait over a week for all these parts to arrive because they're special order, but they're wrong, so we're gonna have to get new special order parts because these have a 5x100 sub pattern. My car has a 4x114x3. So
2 weeks later.
What is up, guys? We're back with another day. I just got a package for the new rear rotors. As you know, last time it didn't turn out that good. But yeah, super excited to open up these and I'll show you what I got. So what I got were the Brembo normal street pads. They were a little bit more expensive. I think they were $53 more. Now let's just get these rotors installed. And then we'll just secure them in place by putting the screws in. Alright, so now that's put in place, we'll put in the backing plate now. So now that the backing plate is put in place, we'll put the pads in. And now that they're put in place, we'll put a bit of brake pad lubricant on the outside of them just to make sure there's no friction on the outside. Now that our pads are lubricated on the outside, we'll put the pot back on, like that. So to get the caliper pot to actually fit, I had to use a specialty tool, which is this cube thing, because I didn't realize on the Prelude it was kind of like a European car where the back of the pot is like rotational. So by putting this in, it actually, you can rotate the pot back into where it used to be. I'll show you up real close. So on these pots, you can see how they're like a cross like that. You need to use one of these tools like this to get in there and you can just rotate it. And then we'll just put the two backing bolts in place at the top. So now that the caliper pot has been tied, we'll just put the brake line back in, and then after that we'll just bleed all the brakes. Now all that we have left to do for this brake project is we just need to bleed all the brakes. We just crack open the bleeder valve here, and then Daewoo will just pump the brakes and make sure that all works. So as you guys might have known, or the paint is looking a little bit different, so I have been sanding it in the background because this video has taken a while to come out. So I'll give you guys an update about that in one of the future videos. So as I was saying, this video, at least for me, has been all about patience. I've been waiting on parts to come in for so long. It's taken up to a month to just make a video like this. Patience isn't about me or about waiting at all. It's about trusting in God completely. Romans 12:12 says, "Be patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. Even when things feel slow, God is moving." So as Christians, we need to make sure to not rush any of the processes that God has put in our lives. Just otherwise they won't turn out the way that God intends them to be. We need to trust Him completely. I'm super happy with how the brakes turned out. As you can see, they look a lot better than how they did before. As always, if any of you have any questions about faith or Christianity at all, you can always reach out to me on Instagram at Lockie_auto. But yeah, that's the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching.